Coach's Corner with Coach Heck and the infamous Coach Patrick King. You're stuck with me, man.
I'm stuck.
You are stuck with me. I ain't going anywhere.
There's a lot of people that are jealous of me for sitting here, and there's some people that there's a little sympathy going on at the same time.
There's more people that are sympathetic to you. I'm just saying that much right now. Ron, you know you're second in the state in tees.
When I go talk to Turkovich at the scores
Get a
table,
picture.
I said, get as many pictures as you can.
And you ain't that good. The scouting report said you were pretty good. You ain't that good. Oh, man. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We are back on a Monday night at Bar Louie's. What a beautiful day in South Bend, the northern part of the state of Indiana. Just probably about 65. Sunny now, late at night. After the show, I can go home and get some yard work in, man.
We actually could today. You know, we got the time changed, so it's all of a sudden it's 8 o'clock before it's dark.
No, I know it's beautiful. Beautiful. Patrick, how you doing, man?
I'm doing. I'm living. I've got some things going on the rest of the week medically, but we're gonna make it work. Just getting through it.
Are you going into rehab? Is this the week you're going into rehab for a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'm gonna rehab. We'll call it.
No,
rehab.
I didn't. I thought it was alcohol rehab.
No, it's not alcohol rehab. It's I don't know. You allowed to talk about that stuff in here?
No,
we're having an outpatient event.
This is a family show. There's no alcohol rehab here.
Yeah, listen, if you need to go, if you ever need to go in alcohol rehab or anything, call me because I'll be your sponsor and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I obviously can't drink because of my liver transplant.
Yeah,
but I'd walk you through it.
No,
you're good with alcohol, all right?
I don't have a problem with alcohol. I don't have a problem drinking.
I don't have a problem drinking.
Isn't that the way the song goes? Yeah. I don't have a drinking problem. I don't have a problem drinking.
No, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Anyway, what a great time of year. It is basketball now. It's high school. The high schools are into the semi-states in the state of Indiana. The colleges are now the Power Fives are into their conference tournaments now coming up this week. Last week we had conference tournaments of smaller schools. I'm actually wearing my Chicago Bears hat today, as you can see, because it's the opening of NFL free agency.
Free agency started today at noon, didn't it? Boy, they've had some movement. That's for sure.
Those general managers are throwing them on money like it's monopoly money.
It's just amazing. And you know, that's the reason season tickets keep going up.
Yeah, no, and Kirk Cousins, he signs, he leaves the Vikings and he signs for $180 million for 4 years. 180 for 4 years.
Well, yeah.
With the Falcons.
And he was doing well last year with Minnesota when he got hurt.
Yeah, he tore his Achilles.
He was putting up some numbers.
So are we sure he's even going to be the same? I don't know. I mean, an Achilles is tough. 180 for 4. I don't know. What is he, 34, 35?
What was that? There was another quarterback who hurt his Achilles this last year, wasn't
exactly. There? Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, somebody like that. Who knows what they're going to do?
So that's why I got my Bears hat on today, and I'm excited to see. I saw the Bears sign DeAndre Swift, a running back who played for the Detroit Lions, and he played for the Eagles last year. They got him for 3 years, $24 million. He's making a cool $8 million to tote the football
for a running back. Yes.
Yeah, and running backs used to make money. Running backs used to be a hot commodity in the league, but not anymore.
What was the one quarterback that just got traded for a 6th round pick?
Mac Jones,
the Giants. So talk about value.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mac Jones just went from the Patriots to somebody, and I don't even know why
went to the Jaguars, I believe.
Yes,
as a backup.
As a backup. Mm-hmm. As a backup. Mac had a great career at Alabama. Really good. In the immortal words of 1946, Jumpin' Johnny couldn't bust a grape with the Patriots.
And he just might have been the wrong team. You never know.
Just might have been the wrong team, but I do know this much. I did the Mishawaka Regional at Michigan City.
Did you like Michigan City? You've been over there several times.
Well,
I like that gym.
So here's what I like about Michigan City. The hospitality room was second to none. I went in the hospitality room. They had Polish sausage. They had potatoes. They had green beans. I said, is there a Polish wedding is that why this is here? Because there's going to be a Polish wedding later on after the games.
Right.
The hospitality room was literally amazing. The hospitality room at Mishawaka High School was 8 boxes of pizza and a cookie platter. I wanted to take a picture and show the Mishawaka Athletic Administration, say, this is what a hospitality room is.
I tell you, South Bend, Washington had nice hospitality. They have it in the library, and they had pastas and linguine and all kinds of, typical West Side food.
Well, the west side of South Bend food is the Polish sausage.
Exactly.
And noodles and all that stuff.
It was good stuff.
And I wanted to do that because Mishawaka hosted a sectional, and I got to say this was one night we had Raising Cane's chicken, but it was Friday night. Scott knows, right, Scott?
Can't do that in a Catholic town.
No meat on Friday night. Yeah, no meat.
At least during Lent. Right?
I had 7 orders of French fries and 2 pieces of Raising Cane's bread. It was good. Not healthy, but it was good. Did you have your
leg pulled up the other day because of your West Side guy?
Yeah, I had my left leg pulled up for West Side. For West Side, my right side, my right leg pulled up is East Side. Both legs pulled up is I don't give a damn.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Tell me about Mishawaka, because I think in a lot of people's eyes, Mishawaka was a surprise winner over at Michigan City.
Well, so what does Mishawaka do? Mishawaka plays really good defense. They give up 46 points a game. They have 3 kids that are just strong. 2 of them are football players. Trey Thomas, 6'5", Brady Fisher, 6'4", and Cooper Pritchett, who's not a football player, about 6'4", and they are just tough hombres inside. And Mishawaka led the rebounding battle early, 18-4, jumped on East Chicago about the 4th possession down. Probably the 4th possession to the rest of the game. If East Chicago made more than 2 passes, there should have been an investigation. It was a dribble down and a cast up. It was maybe 1 pass and trying to go one-on. And when you go one-on-one without making the help side defense shift back to the other side, there's no driving lanes.
No.
Because
everybody's set.
Yeah, no, the gap control from Mishawaka was good, and but they didn't move the ball side to side to side to side. And Mishawaka was always going to make 7 or 8 passes and made East Chicago Central defend, which they couldn't do.
Yeah.
And East Chicago was the 10th highest scoring team in the state at 69 points a game.
I didn't know that.
And Mishawaka held them to 52, and a lot of those came late when Mishawaka had a 20-point lead. So Mishawaka did exactly how they wanted to play. The tempo was at their pace. They forced turnovers. They moved the ball. They got great shots. And East Chicago Central was just – they were out of their league from a coaching standpoint. Bodie Bender really came in and did a nice job of coaching the caveman up, and really really put it to him. Hopefully at about maybe 10 till 8, 5 to 8, we'll have Bodie on a little bit, and maybe we'll get a little bit of a scouting report on Fort Wayne, because that's who they play in the first game at Elkhart. In the second game at Elkhart. The first game is Crown Point against the number 1 team in the state, Fishers.
Fishers gets to drive all the way up here to Elkhart to play. But that happens every year. There's always a team from the central part of the state that has to come up here.
And Liberty Christian is playing at Michigan City. Liberty Christian coach. And we must announce this.
Yeah, need to go ahead.
The 4 coaches that we had on the show in the last 2 weeks, they all made it to the semi-state.
We're 4-0.
Yeah, Eric Gaff, St. Joe's in it. You'll talk about St. Joe in a minute. Norman Anderson at Liberty Christian is single A. They're in it. Bodie Bender, they're in it. And my 4th.
So you people are listening live right now, right down here at the bottom. There's our number. Call your favorite coach and tell him if he wants to win this weekend that it would be a good idea for them to call in the show here, and we'd be glad to talk basketball with them for a few minutes.
Yeah, no, That's exactly what they need to do because we are good luck charms.
We will help them scouting reports, whatever they need to know.
Yeah, no, talk about the St. Joe Indians.
Well, before I do that,
I'm sorry, Huskies.
The Huskies, that's right. I saw 2 ball games this weekend over at South Bend, Washington. South Bend, Washington hosted. The first game was a 1A regional between DeMont Christian, which is over toward Crown Point, and Michigan City Marquette. Marquette started 2 freshmen and 3 sophomores. They lost all their players. It was one of those where they lost 98% of their points last year. Brand new team. And I tell you, Ray Tarnow does a great job of coaching.
Yeah, he is a great coach.
He's an old timer. Right. He's a veteran. He knows what to do. He can take teams and mold them into whatever they've got. They lost their best player earlier in the season. J.J. Welsh hadn't even played, so they even had to rebuild a young team a second time. And right now they're 12 and 15. They're under 500 because they play all these big schools over in the region. Now they're playing 1A ball, and they've got 2 little guards, Alex Pekoski and Josiah Mays, 5'8", 5'9". One's a freshman, one's a sophomore, that are putting up 11, 12, 13 points a game. And then they've got a 6'7" sophomore in the middle, Colson Dobre, who I guess has come through the private school system over there in the Portage, Valpo area, and now he's at Michigan City Marquette. So those 3 people really put on a show the other night. And I tell you, DeMont Christian, bless their hearts, they picked a bad day to have a bad game.
Yeah, that happens when you advance in the tournament, man. You better bring your A game 24/7.
And they just, nothing went in. They were a high scoring team, and just like that, I think they had maybe 15 points at the half, and I think they struggled to get to 40. I can't remember the final score, but it was not even pretty. The ball past middle of second quarter, it was never a game, and it was almost like they'd walked into Hinkle. They looked like Hoosiers. Because I think it was just too big. It might have been too big of a stage.
Well, I watched Hoosiers last night. It was on TV, and I like to watch it around tournament time, and it's the absolute best movie. One of the funnest things that I got to do when I was living down in Indy was I always got to broadcast the All-Star games that Gary Donna would put on, and they were played in the Hoosier gym
over at Knightstown.
So I'm upstairs on the stage, and they're playing in the Hoosiers gym. The first time I did it, my lovely wife Monica is with me, and she goes, "I gotta go down and see the locker room. I gotta go down." I said, "Stop. Hold it. They're probably showering down there. Stop. We need to wait." "That's okay. I got to see the lot," because Monica loves Hoosiers.
That's good for her. Well, you mentioned then the second game was a 3A game between John Glenn, who was 13 and 13, and St. Joe, the Huskies. And during the season, St. Joe had put it on them. It was a 20, 25-point ball game. And St. Joe jumped out on them early. It was like 8-0, 9-0, 13-2. And really, it was never a game. Glenn got it back under 10 a couple times in the second and third quarter. But St. Joe, I tell you, Jace Lee just put on a show.
Yeah, he's really, really athletic. He's a Division I baseball player.
Yeah,
just a great athlete.
You figure you're exactly right. Here you got 3A. You got Jace Lee, who is going to be a college shortstop at Notre Dame, Division I shortstop at Notre Dame. The kid's 6'3", and he's going to play shortstop. He's an infielder.
Yeah.
I mean that.
Corey Seager's 6'4". He plays short.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Who's Corey Seager?
World Series MVP,
that's the
Corey
guy
Seager.
that Texas bought from the Los Angeles Dodgers. And that's how Texas bought a World Series championship.
Oh, here we go.
I'm sorry.
We had a little sidebar there.
All right, go ahead.
Now, so, when you walk in and here's St. Joe playing, and all of a sudden the lineups are going on, and you hear the name Shrewsbury, and you hear the name Konecny. I can't pronounce his name.
Konecny.
Right. Yes, Konecny. It's one. You're good. Thank you for being here. Thank
Polish,
you.
man.
Yeah, I still have to struggle with the Polish names. And you think, okay, wait a minute. These are little brothers. These are the little brothers that got ball players at Notre Dame, and a dad. And then you throw Jace Lee in there. They are athletic. They're 6'4", 6'3".
Well,
athletic.
then you throw Elijah King in there.
Elijah King's a freshman at 6'2". He might be the best of the bunch.
Yeah,
no relation.
No
relation. He's scoring
eight
points a game. Not that I know of.
Okay.
8 points a game as a freshman. Braylon White comes off the bench. He's a sophomore. St. Joe's loaded.
Yeah, so I see St. Joe and Scottsburg in the state championship game. Now, I'm not trying to put a jinx on Eric because I think Eric is a great coach. He coaches them up. He knows what he's doing, but I just think St. Joe is that talented. And I know you like Scottsburg coming out of the South.
Well,
right?
I my experience down at Madison, it's interesting to see how Scottsburg has brought players in. I think out of their starting 5 at Scottsburg, from what I understand, 3 of those kids are not Scottsburg kids. If you know what I understand, they've come in from either Southwestern or they're in from Seymour or Austin or other places around the area.
Sure.
That are close by. Open enrollment. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey! The IHSA got no more juice.
That's part of it.
They got no more juice. Come in as a ninth grader. You can live an hour away. Come in as a ninth grader. You're good to go as long as the school accepts you.
And you're exactly right. So you're mentioning Scottsburg in the South. Let's don't forget about next week. This coming up, St. Joe. Yeah, their game in the morning. They're supposed to win that one. The night game is going to be a dandy. Delta will give them everything they want.
Mark Detweiler's just done a great job at Delta.
And Delta was up here last year. They were at Elkhart last year in the semi-state.
And beat John Glenn.
Yeah. So Delta is the real deal. And I mentioned it during the sectional. The winner of the Delta Yorktown game versus the winner of the St. Joe Mishawaka Marion game, those 2 are going to meet just by the way that things were drawn this week there in the finals, supposedly, if they get that far. And then one of those will go to the state finals and play maybe Scottsburg or maybe Guerin Catholic.
Hey, have you been taking Magic Mind? Because you are thinking like a pro today.
I got a few. Every once in a while I can surprise people.
I mean, Magic Mind, folks, I've been taking it now probably for about 10 days, and it's helped my focus. It's helped my memory. It's helped my clarity. It just relaxes you. It's just a great nootropic. There's a lot of great ingredients, maca, mushrooms, lion's manes, mushrooms. You can go to magicmind.com and type in Coach's Corner 20 and you'll get a 20% discount. But I can't tell you from my own personal experience how Magic Mind has elevated my mind game, my brain game. Now, I work out at Planet Fitness all the time to elevate everything else on me, but you can't elevate your brain game at Planet Fitness. You can elevate it through Magic Mind. And I think you've been taking because you're as sharp as a tack today, man.
I'm trying. Well, I was really busy today.
Sharp as a basketball.
Yeah, sharp as a basketball. I was really busy today when I was substitute teaching. I'd be at the top of my game. I was teaching a physiology class.
Well, I know you didn't do anything with physiology, so because you got 9,200 pages here of stuff that you ran off.
While we're talking about 1A, up here in our area, we've got a team here, Elkhart Christian, with Aiden Hibbard. He is the local hero right now. For 2 games in a row now, he has hit the game winner. And this last week against Tri-County, they're down 1 with 3 or 4 seconds left. Got to go the length of the floor. He takes it out of bounds and just takes off running. 1-2 passes. They get a return pass him. He ends up shooting a layup for the game winner.
Wow.
So they've beaten Tri-County, and the week before that, they beat Lakewood Park. So Elkhart Christian is lucky enough to come over to Michigan City. They play Fort Wayne Canterbury in game 2 in the 1A, along with Liberty Christian, Marquette. Now, the other little tidbit we were going to throw in here is in 1A, this always gets people's dander going.
What the private schools?
7 out of the 8 schools in 1A are private schools. The only one that's not is Bar Reeve. And Bar Reeve and Evansville Christian are 1 and 2, and they play each other down in Lagodi Saturday, first game. So that's, if you wanted predictors, that's the state championship game next week at Lagodi with Bar Reeve and Evansville Christian.
Well, I can tell you about a state championship game that was played in the regional at the Wigwam in 1998 in the regional between the Anderson Indians and Pike High School. Alan Darner, the former head coach at Highland High School, was the head coach at Pike. Whoever was going to win that regional game was going to win the state. One of my players on that great Anderson Indian team was a kid named Eric Bush, and I mean, our listeners tonight, you guys are going to be treated to a great interview. I'm going to hook Eric up on this line here. We're going to talk about the game at DeMatha. We're going to talk about his tournament run, both at the high school level and the college level. So why don't you go over some things, and I'm going to get the great Eric Bush on the line here.
Okay, I can do that.
I found the end of that Elkhart Christian Tri-County game.
Do you have that? You want? Yeah, let's go ahead and watch the end of that game. Let's hit that right now. Elkhart Christian, I believe. Well, I'll prompt it. If Elkhart Christian's got the ball out underneath, and
this is. Let me give credit where credit's due here. This is courtesy of J Hoosier 83 on YouTube.
Okay.
So shout out to J Hoosier.
You can see this game's at North Judson, and Elkhart Christian's in the white.
So yeah, for those of you listening to the podcast, the guy hits a three at the top of the key off of a nice dribble handoff, kind of weave action. 3.9 left, so Tri-County's up by 1 at this point with 4 seconds, and then Elkhart comes down and hits a layup at the buzzer. And man, they're going to show this on the replay, but this dude taking the ball up the court was really close to going over and back.
Is this an over and back?
No, he did not have both feet and the ball over, but man, it was in real time. You're like, oh man,
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I see right there. You got to have everything over, but you're right. He was close.
Both feet and the ball have to go.
Well, wouldn't that have been something if that referee would have called an over and back?
Yeah.
On a game winner like that. Good. Go back.
So then they make the layup, and Elkhart wins by 1. So there you go. They're working on getting him on the phone. You got it yet?
We're working on him. Heck's trying to get to him.
Did he hang up?
Okay, hold on for a second.
Yeah, we're trying to change. All right, go to your speaker. All right, you should.
Is the Bluetooth thing on?
Hang on, we got a Bluetooth.
Powered on.
Have you Bluetoothed your phone yet? Yep. All right, I'm blinking.
You good?
All right, try it again. He can't get it Bluetoothed. Go to your setting. Go to your settings and see if it says, now go to Bluetooth. Tap Bluetooth. All right, not connected. Connect there.
Welcome back, everybody, to our new segment called Connecting a Phone to Bluetooth. Sponsored by Verizon.
Verizon.
Okay, you there?
You should be able to hear him in your headset. All right, go back. Go to your go to audio. Go to BTA. It should be PTA 2.
Eric, you there? You got there? All right, man. I got you, man. Hold on.
All right, now go to BTA 2. You should be in your headset.
You have channel 3 on.
We have got this figured out, and our listeners, man. We are back, man.
Two amateurs.
We are two amateurs trying to run this, but we have the great Eric Bush on with us. Eric, how are you, man?
I'm doing great, Coach. How you guys doing?
We're good. So I'm with Pat King here. Pat is a former Anderson Indian, played with Roy Taylor and Tony Marshall, and then he came up to South Bend here as the head basketball coach at South Bend Adams. So Pat and I have been friends for a long time. And we kind of do this podcast. We promote you, and a lot of people are tuning in. Want to listen to you a little bit.
I think we actually played you guys that year '98, maybe a week or two before you went to DC.
So do you remember playing South Bend Adams, Eric?
Absolutely. And I was gonna tell you, a kid from Anderson, man, that truly loves Anderson basketball and the history of it. Everybody know Pat, man. Pat ain't no secret. Everybody know Pat.
I love that, man.
That's gonna be great.
I love that.
I'm doing great. So Eric,
So Eric was a starting guard, played for the great Steve Douglas at Northside Middle School.
Yeah.
Steve and Pat are great friends.
We've been friends since we were little leaguers.
And Eric was part of just a vaunted 8th grade class that came in with Brett Manifold, Dwayne Miller, Eric, Dusty Thomas. Who else?
Tyson Jones.
Tyson. Oh, how could we forget
That's
Tyson?
his running mate.
That was his running mate.
Backcourt,
Man.
Yeah,
That's his running mate.
Oh, and they
Batman and Robin.
and that so that group came in, and I think it was my 3rd year at Anderson, or could have been my 2nd year. And I said, man, there ain't no upperclassmen that can hold these cats. So as freshmen, we played you as freshmen, didn't we?
Yeah. Hey, you did, man. You gave us a big opportunity coming from 8th grade. We were stacked, man. We had, and that was just to name some of the guys that like started and stuff. Even some of our guys that didn't even start was like, we had a super group that year. And
Tyson Malone, Frank Malone.
Tyson Malone, Frank Malone, Jimmy Nave. We had a lot of people. Jimmy ended up going to Highland, but we had a lot of good cats coming out at that age. And I think we kind of scared Coach Heck when we got there because we knew we was young, but man, we had hearts of lions, man. We was fearless.
Yeah, they didn't know that they were fixing to play a varsity schedule at Anderson. They didn't know that. It didn't bother them.
They were the high school version of the Fab Five about 6 or 7 years later.
That's a great comparison. Great comparison. So when you stepped foot on a high school court at age, I don't know, maybe 14 or 15, that never bothered you, did it?
Never, not once. I always felt that I was prepared for anything, man. I literally fell in love with the game of basketball at a young age, and it was my everything. You know, it was my savior. It was my refuge. It was my solace. So anytime I stepped in the gym, I didn't care who it was, man. They was gonna get the best version of me.
Yeah, and so when we describe your game and we say what did E do? E was the quickest cat in the gym, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter when you walked in your freshman year or you walked in your senior year. You were always going to be the quickest player on the floor. And the difference, I think, was your freshman year, you just went bam, 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 100% of the time. As you grew and as you matured, you learned how to use your quickness to your advantage. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, Coach. And, you know, I owe a lot of that to you. You know, playing with Coach Douglas and Coach Russell when I was in elementary, you know, they always told me my speed was my strength. So I just relied on it a lot. And I know when we got up there to high school with you, and I remember one of the first things you told me was, you fast, but you little. You got to develop a pull-up. You got to develop a pull-up shot. You know what I mean? So understanding pace and how the game is so different coming from middle school to high school, like it definitely was a learning process of learning how to pick spots.
Yeah, so one of the things I remember to this day is I would always tell you that little pull-up J at the free throw line, that's got to be a layup to you. And layups, you know, I mean, you got to make layups 99% of the time. And as you grow older, that J at the free throw line's got to be good to you. And that was good to you your whole career, wasn't it?
Man, absolutely. I tell kids now, like, that's the separation with kids now. You see kids that are freakishly athletic and fly to the rim and do crazy stuff. Then you see these kids that can stretch the floor and shoot the ball with ease from half court. But you rarely see them kids that have that middle game, that pull-up game, that stop and pop, or that change direction and stop. And it's kind of like a lost art, but I fell in love with it.
Yeah, and I used to always say, stop on a dime and leave change.
Well, and you
Stop
see
on a dime and leave change.
That's right, man.
For you right
the
there.
Purdue guard right now is starting to pull up that little mid game there.
Yeah, Braden Smith.
Smith's got that little mid game coming off the high.
Yeah, so you know he played high school basketball for Shane Sumter, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Shane Sumter is the head coach at Westfield. Now, let's fast forward now. So your career is great, and we're going to talk about your tournament runs, you know, from your freshman year on. But I want to fast forward to your senior year, and we're really good. Man. We're I don't know, ranked number 1 or number 2 in the state. And I go through a liver transplant. Might have been your sophomore year. and Terry Turner and Johnny Wilson took over practice a little bit. I made it back, and my guys were there, and so Morgan Wooten, the head coach at the famous DeMatha High School, has a liver transplant a month before I do. Him and I get to know each other, and so we say we're going to play this game at the MCI Fieldhouse, the Washington Wizards, with DeMatha against Anderson, and we're going to raise a lot of money for organ donation awareness. And DeMatha's number 1 in the country. I think we're number 1 or number 2 in the state. And obviously we can't go scout them, right? I mean, we see it on film. When you watch games on film, it's a little different. We put a little report together. We tell you who Keith Bogans is. We tell you who Joe Forte is. But until you see him in person, you don't really know. We practice. We fly to Washington, D.C. We do all the thing. We go out for warm-ups. All right, we go out for warm-ups, and now I see these dudes. My guy, I mean, you guys are warming up at the other end. You guys are doing what you're doing. You're oblivious to everything. You guys were oblivious to 14,000 people there. You guys were just ballers. But I'm looking at DeMatha now, and I'm seeing Keith Bogans. I'm seeing Forte. I'm seeing Andre Collins at 6'9". I'm seeing that white guard that went to Boston College at 6'6".
He was nice. Yeah.
And I'm going, what in the world have I done to my guys from Anderson?
Hey, coach, I ain't gonna even lie to you. When we seen them though, the first thing we said was, man, that's a college team.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly team, on a pro court.
Yeah.
And we're in the Washington Wizards locker room. So now we go down at 6 minutes to go. We go down and we say a little prayer, and then I give the matchups and all that stuff. We say the prayer. It's probably the first time you ever saw me nervous, and I'm kind of stammering around, and you raise your hand. You raise your hand in the middle of that. Tell our listeners what you said.
Hey, so Coach I cannot lie. That was the first time I actually seen Coach nervous. Like, he's normally our leader. He's always fearless, like most bullish, competitive person I know. But tonight he was real friendly. And I ain't like it, Pat. So I asked him. I raised my hand and I asked him. I said, Coach, you don't think we can win this game, do you?
That's exactly the truth.
He was like, well, I just want you guys to know that this is for a good cause. I'm like, Pat, I had to shut him down, Pat.
That's exactly what he said.
We didn't come this far. We didn't come all the way to D.C. to just play. Right?
That's exactly.
Everywhere we go, we represent Anderson with our hearts, with our city and our forefront of our mind. Like, we always put on, even in losses, like even in the bad situations, like we always knew that it was always bigger than us. We knew we had Anderson looking at us. We knew the guy's shoes that we was filling, coming in, playing behind Kojak Fullers and the Tyson Britts and the Archie Fullers. Like, it was always legendary. So anytime you had that Anderson across your jersey, man, like, you had to go represent.
Yeah, no, it is exactly how Eric described it. And so now I go out because Morgan Wooten has done a great job now. He's done a great job of patting me on the back and saying, heck, we're going to raise all this money for organ donation. He's trying to make me feel like, hey, don't worry about this game. There ain't no way you can beat us, blah, blah, blah. So the jump ball goes up, and I turn and I look to Morgan Wooten. His face is beet red. He's screaming. And right there I say, he tried to set me up, man. So
yeah, I remember that, Coach. I remember you said that.
Right there, I said, this stuff. I almost said the other word. I said, this stuff is on. We are kicking their ass.
It's on like Donkey Kong.
And
yes,
you guys talk about that game from playing in it and playing against those great guards that they had.
Yeah, like you said, I couldn't remember the kid name that went to Boston College, but it was the kid I had to guard mostly. It was the point guard. He was like 6'6", like a big guard. He was really good. But they had Joe Forte. Everybody know Joe Forte, Keith Bogans. Keith went to Kentucky. Joe went to North Carolina. End up both going to the NBA. Man, these guys were, like, I can't lie to you, Coach. Like, I can't tell you that I was scared, but the respect was there. Like, I looked at them. I was like, yeah, that's next level over there, right? And it was always like, with us, it was like a dipping stick. Let's see how good we are. You know what I mean? Let's see how good we really are. We know we good in Anderson. We know we good in Indiana. You know what I mean? Let's see how good we really are, man. We went out there and competed against them guys, man.
Yeah, and we played really, really well. Early in the game, we're out denying, we're in passing lanes. We put
Coach.
Yeah.
Coach, you just was about to say his name. I was just going to ask you. We had two main players that really wasn't even basketball players for real that played a very big role in that game.
Oh, Tommy Griffin, and Adrian English, man.
Adrian English, right? The toughest dudes I ever knew, man.
Yeah, they were football players, and Tommy played especially well because he was the recipient of a lot of four-corner dishes, for buckets. And one of the big plays in that game early, we were a little nervous, and Tommy came in. Tommy subbed in for Dusty Thomas, and one of the big plays was Keith Bogans had a J on the baseline, and Tommy just put that ball in like the 7th row, and Tommy was like, "Get that out of here, man. You don't know who you're dealing with."
It was literally like a turning point. It was literally like you can almost feel like the in them. They was like, they really come to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I know. And then your friend and my friend Derek Goo Jones he was spectacular that game. I think he had 21, 24. And was just spectacular. Had a big time dunk. Dwayne Miller was an undersized post player. He was really, really good that game. Dusty had a couple of buckets.
Dusty had some.
Yeah, Dusty was just a real technical type player, you know.
Yeah. That's what I said. A lot of our teams, it was easy to look at that five that came in as freshmen, man. But like I said, man, we had so many players that was in our class with us, man, that it helped us all 4 years, man. And some of them guys you named, honestly, Coach, I think Goo Jones should have been a pro.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that. Derek went to a school in California, junior college in California, and was fixing to sign a big-time scholarship, maybe at Colorado State or Colorado, and didn't take care of academics. That was that was Derek. Derek will tell you that today, man.
Yeah, and to this day, a lot of people say, Eric, it should have been you. I tell people all the time, man, what you seen was my work, man. I had to outwork people. I wasn't talented, man. All my brothers, everything. I was brought up playing football, man. You know what I mean? I didn't play basketball. So everything I got, it was off of hard work, man.
Yeah, but don't tell me that, man. You love playing basketball. You played.
Absolutely.
You were just a competitor, man. Whether we're going to Marion, whether we're playing those guys, whether you're making threes from 27 feet.
Whether it's me arguing with you in practice.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. And I knew what you guys were, and I knew how competitive you were. I was just talking about this game before we got you on the line. I knew, you knew, everybody in the state knew that whoever won that regional game between Anderson and Pike was going to win the state championship that year. And uncharacteristically, we missed 7 or 8 free throws, and we shot free throws to the tune of about 70% that year. But uncharacteristically, we missed 7 or 8 and lost by a couple to a really, really good Pike team. And Pike went on to win the state championship that year.
Yeah, that year will forever haunt me, man. I was so excited about that game. I can't lie. I was almost overly excited.
Yeah, that was the last, and that was the last time that the Wigwam was actually sold out. People were selling tickets on the street. Yep. Yep. So then go back to your sophomore year now. Let's regress a little bit. Go back to your sophomore year. We win. We move on. We get to the semi-state, and we beat Shelbyville in the morning game, and then we play Ben Davis in the night game. Ben Davis had a guard named Mike Poisel. Poisel could just make threes from anywhere, and our scouting report was wherever Poisel goes, you go. You never leave Poisel, and we're up big. I don't know, by a point or two with, maybe a minute left. Loose ball. And Tyson did a great job on Poisel. Loose ball. Tyson tries to dive on the floor get the loose ball, which meant he left Poisel. They got the loose ball. They kicked it to him. He makes it. Now we're down 2. Now, I don't know if you remember this.
Listen, that just played in my mind like it was yesterday, man.
Yeah, so we call timeout, and we're going to run a little bit of a set, and we're going to set a double because Ben Davis sagged, played help side really well, and we were going to pin the back 2 guys in and get the ball to you for a 3 at the buzzer. And our guy that we love, we pray, we say, rest in peace, Kenny Mack. Kenny was supposed to kick the ball over to you for the 3. Kenny pass faked it, got the defender the shift, and Kenny took the 3 at the top of the key. And he missed it, and we lost the game. But when he took the 3, I looked over. We had those 2 guys screened, and you were straight up wide open.
Wide open. Yeah, it worked perfect.
Wide open.
It worked perfect. And I'll tell you, me and Kenny used to talk about that, right? Because he told me about the pass fake. He said, bro, he was playing the pass, right? and we are so competitive. We are so competitive that, like, I would literally live with that shot over. Like, as bad as I wanted it, because it was crazy, because exactly how you drew it up, I'm talking about, it worked to the button. You know what I mean? Like, it literally worked to the button. And we didn't never know, because, you know what I mean, I didn't get it. But, like, with the guys I ran with, man, I know he's capable of making it. I've seen him make it 1,000,000 times. You know what I mean? I can live with it, man. It hurt, but I can definitely live with it.
Yeah, and then I see the clip over and over on Facebook where Kenny Mack steals a pass in the lane and goes. And so here's the deal, Eric. I never saw Kenny Chamberlain dunk in practice. I mean, I don't think he ever did, but he steals that ball against Highland and goes down to Wigwam's full, and he dunks it in the game against Highland. Remember that play?
Yeah, listen, that's the nostalgia of the Wigwam, man. Like for real. Listen, I done played in a lot of gyms here in the United States, across the seas, man. Like, I done played ball in some gyms. Like I've never seen or been in a part where nothing matches what happens in that Wigwam, man. Like,
no,
like I tell
agree.
people, like, I can't even put it in words. Like, you literally have to experience it.
So then you leave Anderson. You go to Illinois State for a cup of coffee. You transfer from Illinois State. You go to
I didn't even stay for the whole cup of coffee, Coach.
you didn't even put the sugar and cream in, man.
I said, I don't like that coffee, man. I don't like that coffee.
And then you go to a JUCO in Kansas, I believe, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then you make it to UAB. And you play a couple good years at UAB. Your senior year, you get the team into the NCAA tournament, right?
No, it was actually the year after me. Coach Mike Anderson, he came from Arkansas with Nolan Richardson. He brought in that 40 minutes of hell style of basketball to UAB, man. And I was there. My senior year was his first year. One of my best basketball years, and it wasn't. It was just the experience. I'd never been around a coach like Coach Anderson. He was very, very different. Very vocal, very in your face with it. Like, he kind of matched my inner, like how I am on the court. He was like a coach, so it kind of worked. You know what I mean? And we had a very great year. That's the year we beat Dwayne Wade and them.
Yeah, that's the year that I got a picture of you standing on the scorer's bench.
Yeah,
and going crazy after the game, right?
Yeah, that was the year. They had some great players on that Marquette team. So I was there when we started a fuss, when UAB really, because when I went there, I'll be honest with you, they wasn't known for basketball. They had a few good players that came through there, but, you know, Alabama is a football town, football state. And, you know, basketball really wasn't big there. So, like, you know, it was really big that my senior year that we wanted to leave a mark, man. And that's what we did. And it was able to recruit a lot of good kids that came in that following year. I helped recruit some of them. I helped recruit some of them that came.
When was Clean Gene Bartow there, before or after?
Yeah, he was there. That was my junior year. He was there my junior year. He left after my junior year.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, man. me and Coach Bartow didn't always see eye to eye, but I learned a lot from him, man. I learned a lot of stuff about how college basketball looks. You know, I was coming from junior college where it's dog eat dog, so I came into UAB with this attitude that it's like I wanted to prove everybody that I was supposed to be there, you know, and me and him bumped heads a lot, but he taught me a lot about how I had to approach the game in college, about how people seen me approach the game in practice, how my teammates seen it. So I learned a lot from Coach Bartow.
So now, and you played overseas for a bit, but now you're back in Anderson, and you're running AAU stuff. You're running lessons. You're paying it forward to all the little guys in Anderson, right?
Yeah, man. I'm trying to keep them busy, man. I'm literally at the gym right now. I just had to pause the training session to make sure I got this call, man. So I'm just here working. Would you believe that they got me over here working at Highland?
Yeah, no, I knew that, but it's not.
Yeah.
And don't worry about that, man. I know it ain't the Highland anymore, man. I know it's just a junior high, but the fact that you're working with kids and you're giving back and you're in your community, you're married, you got a beautiful wife. I'm really proud of you, man. Really proud of you.
Thanks, Coach Heck, man. I appreciate you, man. Like a lot of the things that I got in my life that came from you. I never forget me getting that opportunity to go overseas. That came from you. You know, I greatly appreciate you always. Like when I came home, I reached back to you. I used to come up there and maybe kind of talk to some of the younger guys and stuff. And, you know, I'm a born and raised Anderson kid, man. So I figure if I'm going to help anywhere, man, it should be here first.
Once an Indian, always an Indian, man.
Well, and see, he's a generational player because, like I said, he remembers who I am, and that was 20 years earlier, and that was kind of where we were. The group I was with, you know, set some really high standards that people had to come up with. You know, we won 51 ball games in 2 years, so they and that hadn't happened
not an
for a
easy
while.
feat in Indiana.
No,
well,
I can feat in Indiana.
Yeah, but I can tell you this: during Eric's 4-year run there, the Indians won close to 100 games. Yep. And I will tell you this, Eric, and you can talk about this for a minute. When we were during your tenure with your running mate, the great Tyson Jones, when we were tied or we were leading at the end of the third quarter, we were 52-0 because we could do what?
Four corner.
We spread them out, man. We spread them out.
Well, that means you got to have a good point guard to do that.
Well, we had two of them, man. I mean, the ball could be in Tyson's hand, the ball could be in Eric's hand. And by that time, his junior and senior year, that layup that we talked about was a 15-foot J at the free throw line. And anytime Eric would split that and get to the rack, he was either throwing a lob dunk to Derek, or he was rising and making that little free throw J, right?
Yeah, it became pick your poison at that point. I tell people to this day, like I try to tell the coach up here now, I was like, man, you need to like invest in this four corners, man, because it's not about style, it's not about making people happy, it's about winning, man. Like you got to get back to winning. You know what I mean? I think after some of the good coaches we had here at Anderson, man, I think like a lot of coaches didn't, you know, they just didn't appreciate winning the way we used to, man.
Yeah, no, winning. Well, I mean, winning is the whole thing. That's why we practice 3 hours a day. That's why we grinded it out, winning. And we did go 3 hours a day, man.
Yeah, people don't believe me when I tell them we practice from 3 to 6 every day, and then we'll leave there and go to the boys' club or to the Geeter Center for a couple hours. Yeah, I mean, like basketball was literally life. You know, it's a saying now, but I tell people, like, you know, like when I came up, basketball was literally life. It was school and basketball.
Yeah, and every now and then we wouldn't go to the Geeter Center because we'd go home and study, right?
Yeah,
that's why it was always school first.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, here I've got some trivia for you. Do you know who holds this record for most steals in 1 year at UAB?
Me.
I'm just checking.
Or Cardell Johnson. Johnson.
Nope. It says Eric Bush, 105.
Oh, okay.
105 in 1 year. So you're in the record books.
Yeah, they still got me in there. I thought it was a point guard that came right after me. Cardell Squeaky Johnson. Bro, if he ended up being a pro too, but he was like, he played just like me. Very sneaky, man.
All right. Hey, listen, E, we gotta bounce, man. We got some other stuff we gotta chat about. Listen, it is so cool talking to you. And I'm gonna surprise you because I'm gonna find out when you're having a workout. And I'm gonna jet down to Anderson and sit and watch that workout, man. Making sure you got them in a stance and you got that lead step going and all that stuff, man.
You know it, Coach. I learned from the best, man. I appreciate you guys.
All right, love you, Eric.
Pat, it was good hearing from you, Pat, man.
Tell my guys down there.
Man.
Tell my guys down there I said hello.
Absolutely,
All right,
absolutely.
take care.
All right, see you, Eric. Bye-bye.
All right, see you later, Coach. Love you guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Later.
That we could have. So here's the deal.
You could have talked to him for a couple hours.
No, because that's when that was back in that day where the gym was still full,
Right.
And Randy Zachary and Kojak were a little bit before him,
Mm-hmm.
but that was Hoosier Hysteria. I mean, at its best, and you know this too.
That was really the last hurrah, if you think about it.
And you know this too. I mean, being an Anderson kid, every Friday and Saturday night, the news outlets from Indianapolis,
They were all
Channel 8, Channel 12, or Channel 13,
Mhm.
they were always there doing a promo before the Indians played at the Wigwam,
Mm-hmm.
because the promo was always going to show a full gym, and I was always talking to the sports directors before the game. It was basketball's heyday. Hey, listen, I need to talk a little bit about our sponsorship here, little bit about the great Tony Letcher, 1995 John Adams High School graduate, man.
He is. He was there right before I got there. I got there in 96, 97.
Thanks to Tony Letcher with Health Markets Insurance. Whether you need help with your health insurance or Medicare, it's time you get the right coverage for the right price. Call Tony at 574-307-8882 or visit his website at tletcher.com. And also, we always, Hahn Funeral Home, the loss of a loved one can leave you with lots of unanswered questions and stress. At Hahn Funeral Homes of Mishawaka, they are there to help you during a very difficult time in your life. Stop in and see the great Pat Hahn. His funeral home is located at 505 West A Street in downtown Mish. You can call him at any time at 574-255-1474. The Black Sedan Band, the tunes are tremendous. They play our great music. Frick's Driving School.
Scott, you want to run my little car across here? We're going to get my college road team of the week here right now. Gotta love our little car. You know, hey, we had some big games over the weekend, college games. I'm going to call with the high schools all really at neutral sites. You had some Big East games. You had UConn at Providence. I remember Hurley was walking off the court and he about went up in the bleachers after a fan this weekend. But UConn
You want to know
had a
why?
nice one. What? Okay, tell me.
He called his wife a slut.
Well, that's getting personal. Yep.
Man.
I can tell one about your grandfather one time that when he was officiating in Frankton one time, somebody called him a name, and next thing you know, my dad, your grandpa, is 8 rows up in the bleachers after somebody, and they had to go get him.
Back in the day, though, they got him.
But that's what
they got his
do.
whistle straight. He went back and finished roughing the game.
He did.
Dang.
You know, Creighton beats Villanova at Villanova. Now, so I need some help. You tell me which one you think should be my road team of the week. Kentucky beats Tennessee at Tennessee, big game in the standings in the Southeast Conference, or your North Carolina at Duke. Which one of those do I flip a coin or do I pick one?
I mean, I know Ryan Cormack, who's playing at North Carolina now, just went off in that game. And
the people up here at Notre Dame will appreciate that.
Yeah, and maybe he should have stayed. Maybe he got more NIL money, but I think he went for 30 in that
30,
game.
30-31.
And I think in that North Carolina Duke game, it doesn't matter where you play. Those games are so big, and if it's a home game or road game. So I like the other game.
You like the Kentucky at Tennessee?
Yes, because the North Carolina Duke, there have been so many of those.
Right.
Hey, we win at your place, you win at our place, blah, blah, blah.
Well, and Antonio Reeves for Kentucky had 27. But if there was not somebody named Edie in the country right now, you would be hearing about a guy named Dalton Connect. Connect, is that how you say his name?
Yeah, he had 40 and they lost.
He had 40 and they got beat for Tennessee.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see. I mean, Kentucky's a blue blood, man.
And
They're one of
Kentucky's starting to win a few.
Yes, they are. They are. And I'm glad to see it right in time and in line with the NCAA tournament. I'm really, really, really happy for Kentucky. And Calipari. So here's what Calipari said: if they're going to make the rules that I can recruit freshmen and they can be one and done, I'm going to play inside the rules. But if they want to stay for a year and give me a good year, then fine.
Mm-hmm.
So he played and everybody, I think, kind of held that against him a little bit because he was taking those kids for only a year. But now I think the philosophy is a little bit different because now I think kids are staying longer because of 3 hots in a cot, NIL money. You're a second round draft pick. You're going to be in the G League. You're going to make $40,000 when you can stay in college and make $100,000, $200,000. So I think a lot of those kids are staying now.
Well, let's jump forward. IU had senior day this weekend, and one of their seniors at his big when his little speech at the end he announced that he's going to stay another year.
So Trey Galloway's staying another year.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him, and because he's a glue guy.
Yes.
He's not. So here's and I love his father. I mean, Mark is a great high school coach at Carmel, great coach, and I would say this, if Trey was standing here on a successful team, he's a glue guy.
Yes.
He's not a guy that's going to play 40 minutes or 38 minutes. He's going to score 19 points a game. He's going to come in, play half the game. He's going to guard the best offensive player on the other team. And he's a tough son of a gun.
Give somebody a break.
And he's going to make a 3 every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's what's going to happen to him, because the renaissance of IU now, we put a stake in IU's heart a couple of weeks ago.
They've been all over, and Izzo, here we jump into IU here. Izzo was all over the media this weekend when they were talking about, the possibility of Woody not coming back, that the fans were unhappy. They wanted to make a change, and he's going, "Are you guys idiots?" He said, "Do you not understand what you have here?" And
so you and I talked about that a little bit last week, that we're in this coaching profession.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing we should vow to never do is be negative against other coaches, because we know everybody's shooting bows and arrows at us.
Oh, yeah.
And we did that a little bit with Woody, and I apologize for that. And so what ends up happening, he kind of sticks it into everybody, and they go on a little 4-game win streak. They beat Wisconsin. They beat Maryland. They beat Minnesota. They beat MSU to go and put themselves in a position maybe to get into the tournament. Right?
They're now 10-10, and I believe
18-13.
Are they the 5 seed in the Big Ten tournament?
They're the 6th seed in the Big Ten tournament.
So
they don't
have a question.
Have to play on Friday. All right, question us.
It just came across my desk. This is from Scott in St. Louis. Why does everybody think of Michigan State as such a shoo-in to be a tournament team when they have the exact same record as IU, and this is all claim to be a terrible IU team, but Michigan State is safely in?
I thought of that this weekend too. During late in the game, they were talking about the guys on TV were talking about Michigan State. They're in. And I looked at the records. I'm going, if IU wins this game, they're going to have the same exact record.
Yeah, and I that's a good question, Scott. But you can't sneak that one by me here, because I will answer that. It's Tom Izzo. I mean, the tournament.
I think it's also the Ken Pom rankings of the teams that Michigan State.
And it's all the different ranking systems to have. But it's Tom Izzo. Tom Izzo and the NCAA tournament go almost hand in hand. And if it's a coin toss, it's always going to go Izzo's way. But now here's the question, because Michigan State is 10-10, Iowa is 10-10, and Indiana is 10-10, and all three of those are 18-13.
In a bad Big Ten.
I contend that whoever wins a couple of games in the Big Ten tournament and can kind of separate a little bit, I contend that team will probably get in, or maybe 2 out of those 3 teams will be in, because historically speaking, they've almost taken 7 teams from the Big Ten almost every year. And historically speaking, and I don't want to get off on another tangent, but Drake beats Indiana State in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. Drake is like 26-8, 28-6, and Indiana State's 26-8.
They've won 26 ball games.
Yeah,
and are they on the bubble now?
But historically, they have never done that in the Missouri Valley, unless Greg Marshall was coaching at Wichita State. But will they put a team? Maybe IU goes 11-11. Maybe they win one and lose one, and then they go 19-14. Or Michigan State is in that scenario. Will they put a team from the Big Ten in over Indiana State? And I say yes, they will, because of the power of the Big Ten Conference.
Well,
I don't think it's right.
I
Well, I
don't
agree.
think they should.
So let's just say you've got IU, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Iowa, and throw Indiana State in there. So there's 5 teams. We're going to take 2 of them. Which 2 are you going to take?
Yeah, no, I agree. I know. I know which 2 you're going to take because of the conference.
Which 2 are you going to take?
So that's not saying that Indiana State didn't have a great year.
Right.
Had a great year.
They won the regular season.
I think Indiana State's going to get in, though, because they were ranked in the top 25 at one point this year.
That's the AP. Does that have anything to do with the power rankings?
Yeah, no, and
Yes,
I think that the rankings, all of the different quadrant wins, or all the different kind of systems of ranking that they have, who they won, who their non-conference was against, and all that. They're still 10-10 in their league. They're all 18-13, and the
Missouri Valley was really good this year. The Big Ten was not. The Big Ten was
it's not a very good Big Ten.
This is the worst the Big Ten's been.
Well, we'll see.
Years.
We'll see how that plays out in the selection committee's minds, because we can say that as a couple of guys like me and you that just talk it. But once they get in those meetings, once they have all the analytics, it just becomes different. And I don't think it's exactly right, but it is what it is. And the Big Ten tournament sets up like this: Wednesday, Maryland plays Rutgers. Maryland's a 12 seed, Rutgers is a 13 seed, and Penn State's 11 seed plays Michigan, which is the 14 seed. What's going to happen to Michigan? There's already some coaches getting fired already. The UIC coach got fired. A couple other guys got fired. IUPUI guy got
Missouri State
fired.
Coach got fired today. Coastal Carolina found a new coach. Their coach quit back in December. So, yeah, the coaching changes are going to start right now. All the mid-majors that got beat over the weekend. So
what's going to happen at Michigan? Michigan, historically, a very, very good basketball program. John Beilein, just great basketball. Michigan this year, 8-23, 3-17 in the league. Will the Michigan powers to be just say just a tough year? I mean, bad year. Juwan Howard had some heart issues, came on late, probably lost momentum because he wasn't there early. Does he deserve another year? What's your feeling on that?
I think they're going to let him have another year and possibly pull the plug on him in the middle of the year next year.
We said Ohio State was going to let Hartman have another year too,
and we may be talking this time next week that Juwan Howard doesn't have a job too. So, and I wish I could just call up my buddy Jimmy King, but I can guarantee you he will tell me that Juwan's staying because he's a Michigan guy and that's one of his guys.
Sure. And speaking of Ohio State, they moved the Diebler kid up as the assistant. I mean, they finished pretty nice. They're 19-12. They're 9-11 in the league. They won some games down the stretch here,
right? And
who has a better NCAA tournament resume now? Is Ohio State a tournament team?
I don't know. They're going to have to beat. They're going to have to beat Iowa.
Well, they're going to have to get to the final game. They're going to have to at least be 500, I think. The Thursday games with a bye. Michigan State gets a bye against Minnesota. Minnesota's 18-13, but 9-11 in the league. Wisconsin, the 5th seed, will play the Maryland Rutgers winner. And like we said, I mean, Wisconsin 19-12, 11-9. They have the fifth seed in the league. The third game on Thursday in the Target Center in Minneapolis, will feature the 7th seed Iowa at 18-13 and 10-10 in the league against the aforementioned number 10 seed Ohio State, 19-12, 9-11. And then the last game of the night will feature seed number 6, the Indiana Hoosiers versus the Penn State Michigan winner, which I got to believe will be Penn State. And I think that sets up to be a real big game for the Hoosiers.
I think so. And then you can see Purdue, Northwestern Illinois, and Nebraska have the Friday byes.
Yes, and Purdue plays Michigan State, Minnesota winner. Obviously, Purdue at 28-3, 17-3. So we're going to get our Purdue segment going here in a minute. Northwestern gets the 4th seed, 21-10, 12-8. They'll play the Wisconsin, Maryland, Rutgers winner. Illinois, 23-8, 14-6. They'll play the Iowa, Ohio State winner. And Nebraska, 22-9. They'll play IU, Penn State, or Michigan.
Fire up your little locomotive, Scott. We get in here. Purdue had a tough one. What were you thinking Painter was thinking when did you see how quiet it got in that Mackey Arena when Edey was laying on his back holding his ankle when he stepped on that guy's foot? It went dead quiet. You could have said a prayer in that place.
Well, I'm sure many people did say a prayer in that place, but Purdue did come out with the victory and solidified their number one overall, and not the number one overall seed, but a number one seed in the tournament.
Right.
And they've now won 5 straight. Zach Edey finishes with 25-14. He's the first Big Ten player to score in a career 2,200 points and 1,200 rebounds. Here's the thing. Here's the heck talking great about Purdue. How many guys? I can't think of any, and maybe you can think of some. How many guys get their jersey retired on their senior night while they're still active players?
They're going to take it off his back. I can't remember any.
I cannot remember any either. And I think what a testament to Zach Edey and the obvious. Brandon Brantley did a great job of coaching him up. They showed some clips of him in his younger years when he fumbled balls and he wasn't polished and poised. And then they showed the same clips of this year where he is polished, right? He is poised, he can make free throws, and to tell for Matt Petey or for Matt Painter to tap Zach on the shoulder and say, "Hey, Zach, turn around and look up there."
Wow.
And Zach see his number being retired. That literally was amazing to me.
I guess my question, how many people have their numbers retired at Purdue?
Well, there was a lot of them. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Scott, the retired numbers, but
I don't know. I don't know the number exactly, but someone had this on Twitter yesterday afterwards that half of the people in the rafters have played for Painter.
Yeah, so obviously he does a great job of stepping. Well, he's been there for what, 18 years, 19 years?
His first year was 2005.
So yeah, he's been there
19 years. This is 19 season.
And he does a great job of promoting his players and going to bat for his players. And it's obvious how many good players do you see leave Purdue and transfer and get into the portal and go to other places that aren't top-notch
Painter
players?
Mentioned that, and he also mentioned he thought it was conference-wide. He said, "How many people in the conference do you see transferring out?" Because he was trying to deflect what they were talking about. He knew he was trying to be humble about it because he knew you don't leave Purdue.
Yeah,
you don't. If you go to Purdue, you're a 4-year man, and he was trying to say it's like that everywhere in the conference, which it might not be that extreme.
Well, no, I don't think it is.
How many guys have left unhappy? and saying, hey, I'm going to go someplace else and play.
Well, unless they truly are unhappy and they're not getting to play, but those guys aren't the players that that are going to win big time games. I mean, look at Mason Gillis. Mason Gillis was a starter. They bring in Landon Jones, right?
Mm-hmm.
He comes in, he starts.
Yeah.
And Mason comes off the bench. Now he appears to be. It's all about the team, man.
Well, yeah. And how about First? I mean, First has gone.
That's another great example.
From he's less than 10 minutes a game because Edie's gone from 24 minutes a game to now 30 plus this year, and they can't get him off the floor.
Now I don't think you could put Zach Edey in that equation and say he stayed maybe because he loved Matt so much, or he loved Purdue, or his game wasn't ready for him to leave. Maybe he needed another year of refining some things, because I think that's what it was. I think the NBA told him, go back. You'll be a first-round draft choice if you get better.
Mm-hmm.
And he listened. He probably listened to his mother, because his mother's at every game. His mother loves, and every mother loves their boy. Come on.
Sure.
Your mama loved you. My mom loved me.
But she seems like, from what we've seen, she's a great parent, where she just sits there and enjoys the game. Yes, she's nervous, rings her fingers, but she's not up yelling and screaming. And like we saw in that girls' game yesterday, that South Carolina game, you got older brothers climbing the bleachers, jumping over scorers' tables and stuff like that.
Needs, and we talk about there needs to be more security, man. I mean, the brawl in the palace, right?
Oh, yeah, I know. Hey, here's one team that already has punched their ticket that people here in Indiana would be appreciative. Stetson beat Austin Peay the other night. Do you know where Austin Peay is, by the way?
Well, yeah, it's in Tennessee.
Yeah. Do you know who Austin Peay is?
No.
The first governor of Tennessee.
Well, so the chant is go Peay.
Let's go Peay.
Let's go Peay.
Let's go Peay. And we were Scott, were you with me, or was that Stephanie? We went over to Purdue for a women's game, and Austin Peay was playing Purdue in one of the early games. And you see all these old retired people from the Booster Club going, "Let's go Peay. Let's go Peay."
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I think that was Steph.
But here's what I was getting to. Atlantic Sun Conference Finals. Jalen Blackman had 43 points
for Stetson.
So you will see him again in the draw, because they will be probably a 15 or 16 seed team. So when you see the name Jalen Blackman, let's start talking Marion Giants.
Yes,
I don't know. He's probably the youngest of the bunch, I think.
I think he is too. But here's something that I didn't know, and I think is really interesting. So Purdue tied IU in conference wins, a record of 59 over a 4-year period. So IU's period was obviously 72 to 76.
Okay.
That was when you and I were in high school. Yeah, but 59 conference wins over a 4-year period, I think, is amazing.
That's amazing.
I'm going to talk for a minute about Magic Mind, and I'm going to talk about Hahn Funeral Home and Health Markets Insurance. But I will say this much, and go ahead and tell me. Say, heck, your ability to
remember things today has been really impressive.
But it's all because of Magic Mind. I've been taking it for 10 days.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
I didn't remember. Where can I get Magic Mind?
I will get some for you, but I couldn't remember for 10 years. I didn't know what my middle name was. Forgot my middle name. I'm taking Magic Mind now, and the clarity, the focus, the lack of stress. I mean, before we're doing this show, and I'm like, man, we got to nail this. Now I'm like,
I think it's the magic mushrooms.
I'm in the state of, so Magic Mind calls it the state of flow.
State of flow.
I'm in, I'm just like, I'm in the state of flow.
Is that flow from the Progressive commercials?
No, this is FLOW. But hey, Magic Mind, pull it up, magicmind.com. The discount code Coach's Corner 20 for a 20% discount. I'm going to hook you up with some Magic Mind.
Okay.
And you tell me, you're going to tell me after you take maybe a half a month supply of 15 bottles. You drink a bottle every day, a small little shot bottle. You're going to tell me if you notice a difference.
Well, you're going to have to wait till I get off these painkillers. I know.
That's why we haven't done that yet, because I want to put you in the state of flow.
Because we won't be able to tell the difference
I'm
between
in the
my
state of
painkillers.
flow,
You're in
man.
the state of flow.
I'm in the state of Florida. Health
Scott,
Markets.
We're going to
Thanks
get
to
him out of here in a minute.
Thanks to Tony Letcher with Health Markets Insurance. Whether you need help with your health insurance or Medicare, it's time you get the right coverage for the right price. Call Tony, 574-307-8882, or visit his website, tletcher.com. Han Funeral Homes, located at 505 West A Street, downtown Mishawaka. When your family is in a very, very, very hard time and you lose a loved one, the great staff and great people at Han Funeral Home will certainly help you. Why don't you go over some other stuff here, and I'm going to get the great Bodie Bender on the phone for about 5 minutes.
We could do that. That's good. Scott,
let me close out some stuff with what you guys were talking about Purdue, because you were wondering whose numbers are retired.
Put John on here too, so he can chime in.
Okay, and according to Q, which this is true, he left a comment. According to a media guide, Purdue doesn't retire numbers. All Americans get their jersey hung in the rafters, which I concur, because there is a great picture on Twitter of all of the numbers in the rafters. So you've got, it's Troy Lewis, Todd Mitchell, Steve Scheffler, and then Big Dog, Robbie Hummel, JJ, Etwan, Caleb Swanigan, rest in peace, Carson Edwards, Larry Clisby, who also rest in peace, who was the radio voice. Now it's Rob Blackman, who's Rob Blackman, greater than signed Don Fisher, hot take. And then Jay Nivey and Zach Eady. So there you go.
Put John on here. Let's talk about girls. But I want to ask him some of the stuff about the Indiana girls team. John, how are you doing tonight?
John's muted.
Hang on a minute. Hang on.
Johnny, be good.
Hang on. He's on.
No, you don't mess with the board. It's John.
There, I got it.
I got it. We got him and Bodie, I think, on the same one, so we'll have to mute one of them.
Okay.
So that's okay. Just Bodie can listen. John, tell me, Indiana Girls All-Stars today. Tell me a little bit. We had a local girl today from Penn. Yeah. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Lauren Walsh from Penn was selected to the Indiana All-Star team today, one of the only local girls that we had. A little bit of a surprise. She had a great year. She's undecided on where she's going to college, but it's kind of a surprise. But Lauren gets selected to the Indiana All-Star team today. She'll represent Penn and part of our area in June when they play the Kentucky All-Stars. So
that's impressive
for her.
Yes, exactly. I'm looking, these other girls are from Center Grove, Zionsville. There's a girl from Carroll, Flora, by the way.
Allie Harness, who's the all-time leading scorer at Carroll, Flora, had a great career. And last year still did a great job, even though she was hurt 3/4 of the year with an ACL. She came back and played in the tournament for them a year ago.
Yeah, so we'll have to ask Bodie about her, because Bodie coached at Carroll.
Yeah, absolutely.
He would know her, yeah.
But she's going to Western Michigan. You've got a girl from Fishers. We saw the Fishers team last year. We've seen Mount Vernon play. So we've seen a lot of these girls. Jordan Poole from Fort Wayne Snyder. So a lot of these, Chloe Spring will probably be Miss Basketball. She's from Bedford, North Lawrence. She's going to Alabama. I mean, these girls are going to big-time schools.
They're big-time players, man.
Yes. So there's some very good people there. Talk to me real quick. Did you watch any of the Notre Dame women yesterday on TV, John?
I sure did. I'll tell you something. They just came out on fire, especially in the third quarter. And after having this devastating injury on Saturday to one of their players, a lot of people didn't give them a chance to beat North Carolina State yesterday. And boy, did Niele Ivy's team prove that they're going to be a dangerous team in this tournament. They've probably moved up to either a 2 or a 3 seed come Selection Sunday.
Yeah,
I think Notre Dame's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, Kylie Watson was the girl that got hurt her knee. It'd be interesting. I think they were doing an MRI today. I haven't heard anything what's going on. But one thing I did find out, they finished the game with 7 people on the bench, and one of them was a girl that has never played in a game when the lead was under 20 points. So they had a 6-girl rotation. That was it, with a 7th.
A lot of that this year with a lot of people hurt and stuff. They've kind of gone 6 or 7 pretty much all year long. So whatever rotation Niele's done with it, they've come up and they've played, and they're the ACC champs.
Yeah, Maddie Westbeld played great. I think that was her first start this year.
Well, and obviously Hannah Hidalgo is a great freshman.
Yeah, and we mentioned, we were talking earlier, John, that Notre Dame has the 2 best freshmen in the league this year, male and female. I think Marcus Burton was named Rookie of the Year this year as a freshman for for the men's program. So they did a great job there. Hey, we're going to talk to Bodie for a little bit and talk. We mentioned before you got on here, we are 4-0 with coaches from the coaches we talked to last week and the week before. They are all still in the tournament. So we put it out there.
Yeah, we're waiting to see if anybody else.
If anybody wants any percentages, we're not going to call it luck. That they need to get with us, and we'll help fill them in and give them scouting reports and everything that goes along with that.
All right, Johnny, be good, be cool, man.
John, we're going to put you on mute so we can talk to Bodie. Is that okay?
I'm going to stay on.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yep. Put him on BT2.
Bodie, you there?
I'm there. I'm here, guys.
The great Bodie Bender, man. So when your dad named you Bodie, was there like a certain person he named you after or anything?
So my mom went to high school with I think he's a pretty prominent lawyer now, with somebody named Bodie, and she liked the name and she liked the spelling, and what do you know? That's the name I came out with.
No, so that sounds like you're an NFL quarterback. Bodie Bender drops back to pass. Bodie Bender just signed a $50 million contract today.
Boy, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what is nice, man. The Cavemen, you're coaching them up. They're in the semi-state. Just been a really, really great 2-year run for you here, right?
Yeah, tremendous. And you know some of the guys we have and how hard they work and how relentless they are and how they play with that chip on their shoulder, and they don't like to hear that they're, people want to back them up against a wall or against a corner, and they don't like to hear that they're the underdog, and they take that personal. And I thought they really took it personal in the last 2 championship games we played in.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question the way they competed and just outplayed, held an 18-4 rebound advantage against East Chicago Central early in that game. So tell us, because I know your eyes are probably gone. I know you're exhausted already, and it's only Monday because you're getting ready for Fort Wayne. Tell us what you know about them so far.
So I've started to dive into film a little bit tonight. They have a tremendous point guard in Javon Lewis. He's averaging close to 20 a game. I believe he's the school's all-time leading scorer now. Like I said, at 20 a game, he's averaging almost 8 assists a game. He's shooting 38% from 3, 59 of 156 on the year. He is very strong driving the ball both ways. I have not seen a weakness with him driving the basketball with either hand. So he's impressive to watch. And then they have Chase Barnes, who can really shoot it. He's at 45% from 3, and he's averaging almost 13. And then they have the big horse inside, H.J. Dillard, about 6'7", averaging 13 and 10. And then I think somebody that's sneaky that we're going to have to keep our eye on is number 5, Preston Comer, who's about 6'5", averaging almost 8 a game. But he's another one of those guys that's averaging 30 or shooting 35% from 3, 25 of 72 on the year. So they got some guys that can really shoot it.
All right, so let me ask you this question, though, because I remember going over and talking with you about East Chicago Central, and you mentioned length. You mentioned guys that could score it. The Murphy kids could score it. But offensively, they never ran anything to where they allowed themselves to maybe get into your lane or to do stuff because they took everything too quick. In watching Wayne, do they move the ball a little bit better?
They can move the basketball a little bit. They love to set high ball screens for him to get downhill. And the guy I'm talking about is obviously Lewis. And he will share the rock. So they are a very unselfish team, and they do play together.
Yeah, no, that's so it looks like you got your work cut out for you. But again, it sets up to their strength is playing against your strength. And we see you and I talk about this all the time, man. That 46 number of the defensive average that you're giving up, your strength is jamming those lanes and great gap control and guys that are just really aware of how to play on the help side.
Yeah, we're going to see if that number can hold up one more time Saturday morning / afternoon, and if we could keep it around that number, I think we're going to give ourselves a pretty good chance to win the basketball game.
So this week is doubly tough for you because last week you broke your brains out watching film on East Chicago Central. Now you got to pick a night, maybe. I don't know which night it'll be for you, or a couple nights where you'll have to watch some film on Fishers because your preparation time will be really short when you win the morning game, and you're going to have to probably go against Fishers in the championship game.
Yeah, I still got some. I got some friends around the state that have started feeding me information on that in case we need it. I got a good friend in Noblesville that coaches on their staff that has sent me some stuff. So I have some people pumping me with some information already. You know how it is. Heck, it's like information overload this week.
I know. And plus you're teaching a careers class. You got to give them at least a good 20 minutes in careers class, right?
That's more than what you say to me every day when I walk into the room and you walk out.
Hey, it's tourney time, man. It's tourney time, man. Hey, so for Fishers now, one of our guys that played at Ball State, and you might have known. I mean, did you know Randy Zachary well at Ball State?
I did not. Does he have a son on the team?
He has a freshman on the team, yeah, that plays.
Yeah, he is. From what I hear, I've not seen a whole lot of them right now, but from what I hear, he is a really good player.
Yeah, no. So everything. So I mean, I'm going to let you go here because I know you're watching film. I mean, we just wanted to chat with you a little bit about Fort Wayne, and then again to tell you, man, just a great 2-year run here, and I mean, I don't know, Pat. I just, with the way they can defend, I like the way that they can play in this first game.
Defense wins. The thing I want to know, Bodie, how far you're looking at pages in your contract now about sectionals, regionals. What are some of these perks you had? I mean, you're getting into numbers that Heck dealt with 20 years ago when he was down at Anderson, where you get those contracts on the incentives. So
I may have to let my unofficial agent Ron Hecklinski take care of that for me. He was in the hallways last week lobbying for a pep session.
Don't get me started on that, man. Do not get me started on that. But you need to get an agent, man, because NIL.
Where's that incentive clause? I want to know about all that.
Yeah, man, you're doing well, man.
You can see what football and baseball get when they get down the line, and see if you can get in on some of that.
Hey,
would that be nice?
Hey, listen, man, go back to studying and have a great week of practice. Get your guys ready, and we'll be really excited to call that game again on Saturday morning. At Elkhart. I mean, how special is that for you to get to play this game at Elkhart, right?
Yeah. So I got the opportunity 2 years ago to bring my Carroll team up, and unfortunately, we were a few. If we would have had probably 2-3 more minutes, we may have had a chance. We ended up losing the game by 6 to a very good player in Connor.
The other team had a kid that named Asigian, didn't they?
Yeah, Connor Asigian, who's at Wisconsin, who was a tough guard for us. But getting back, I didn't know. You never know when you're going to get back, how fast you're going to get back, or if you're ever going to get back. So I feel very fortunate, and what do you know, I get to do it at Elkhart's Northside Gym.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I was talking to the Booker and some of the St. Joe guys about, because I was at their ball game the other night. I said, guys, keep track of those pieces of nets you've got. Label them, put them someplace safe, because 20 years from now, you're going to want them, because you don't know this may never happen again. And
right.
you need to keep track of all this stuff.
Well, no, so I know Bodie's got nets. He wore nets around his neck both times, man. And that's the way you got to do it, man.
Get those
the head
labeled.
coach gets the big net, man. Come on.
Right.
Hey, listen, have a great week, man, and good luck to you this week.
Will do. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Man. That's So here's a question for you. Is high school basketball not a big deal anymore? Because you remember this. I remember it just being at Anderson, the pep sessions we had.
Oh, yeah.
The peps on Monday morning, if you won a sectional or a regional, you came into school and the principal dismissed all the student body down to the gym for a pep session. Monday morning.
And the band was already playing and everything.
Yeah,
they were there waiting on you.
And the fire trucks were there waiting at the edge of town when you were coming back from a regional or a semi-state or whatever. They had none of that at Mishawaka. They did not have a pep session for the sectional week.
They don't know how to celebrate because they haven't done it.
Well, no, but they didn't have a pep session before the regional week. It came across on the announcements this morning. Okay, here's the announcements. Let's give our congratulations to the Mishawaka Cavemen for a fine effort and a fine win in the regional at Michigan City, and go Cavemen.
Go Cavemen.
Are you kidding me? I said, get them in the gym.
Yeah.
Let's get the coach to speak. I remember winning those as a kid in high school, and it was always really cool because the other coach who you beat,
right,
they would always send like balloons or a flower.
Yeah.
And whoever was emceeing the pep session would say, and this is a congratulatory note from the coach at South Bend Adams. You guys played a great game. Good luck to you in the regional, Michigan City. Here's a balloon and flowers.
Yeah, I mean, long time ago when we would have our pep sessions for regional or semi-state, here the pirate mascot, the Scott mascot would be there at the game, and they would have something. You're at the pep rally on Friday afternoon, whatever it was, to present stuff. You had people from Pendleton, you had people from Franklin. The Alexandria Tiger was there dressed up in his mascot.
Yes, supporting you.
They were there. The county, the entire county was supporting you. They hated us. They hated the Anderson Indians, but they knew that's just what you did. When push comes to shove, that's what you do.
So now we don't call them the pep sessions. We call them symposiums.
Oh, I haven't heard that term.
I said, what? What did I not file my taxes on time? I got a symposium? Oh, you mean a pep session? You wouldn't have believed the pep sessions we had. Well, you do believe because
we've been through it.
We had the Spirit in the Sky.
Oh, sure. With P.T. Morgan.
P.T. Morgan would be the Spirit in the Sky. Mm-hmm. He would be under the bleachers going, we are hovering over the wigwam and we see a spirit in the clouds. And the
kids loved it.
They loved it. But is
not
high school basketball not a big thing anymore?
The kids don't know it. They don't know how. Somewhere there's been a generational gap of not empathy, apathy.
Well, I mean, one of the things. So my first sectional, and you can think back to your first sectional. My first sectional was at Blackford, and we won it. And when we got to the Muncie city limits, the fire trucks picked us up and they let us back into Muncie. That night we had a pep session at Wapahani High School. And by the way, Wapahani's in the semi-state.
Yeah, and don't be surprised if they're not in Indianapolis in a week.
Don't sleep on Wapahani.
Oh, exactly.
But so then the following week, and how ironic is this, Pat? The following week, our regional is at the Wigwam, and we play the Indians. Troy Lewis's team is junior year.
Okay.
So once we get on the bus and we come from Muncie to Anderson, we have a police escort the whole way. 69 the whole way, sirens going. I'm getting a goosebumps right now because I remember pulling into the Wigwam. Because we were the second game, parking lot was overflowing, and our little scraggly ass little yellow bus from Wapahani, people calling us White My Hiney and all this stuff. We pull in, the cars have the sirens going, and I remember walking off of that bus to the sirens, walking into the Wigwam, and I will remember that forever and ever and ever. We don't even do stuff like that anymore.
No.
I mean, I don't know, when you won your first stuff at Adams, did you have celebrations? Was it cool?
We did them. We really did them ourselves. And we had a small group of students that enjoyed it. They had bonfires, they had tailgates and things like that. But the school itself, no. I actually had to share my first sectional when I won in 98. They had a play scheduled in the auditorium the following week. I couldn't even practice in the gym. I had to go to Clay and practice the week of the regional.
that resume of mine would have been out everywhere. We just win the tough ass South Bend sectional, I can't practice in my
couldn't
gym.
even practice in my own gym. I had to go. We had to go to Clay and practice. Luckily, Clay, the people were nice enough. Humnicky was there, and we went over there because he had been
I
a
think I
former
remember that.
away. Yeah, you were a ball boy, weren't you?
Yeah, I always stretch. I was Jimmy Seitz's stretching partner.
Yeah, there you go.
If I would have been the coach, I would have gone to the principal's office and asked the principal's secretary, "Can you type my resume up here for me?"
The gym was set up for a play. The gym was set up for a play that week.
You know who it was? It
share
wasn't Seitz. It was Barnbrook.
Barnbrook. That was when Barnbrook was a senior. We had to share the pep rally with the mock trial team that was getting ready to go to state.
Man.
They were getting ready to go to
champions,
state.
multiple-time national champion.
You have to understand, Adams is a mock trial that hotbed.
Well, no, trust me. Back in the day, Adams and Jimmy Webb and the great Steve Austin, they were rocking basketball like you couldn't believe. But it's the time. It's the time. Now, I know when I get to school tomorrow, if anybody's listening, Mr. Hecklinski, could you report to the principal's office?
You're going to get called to the principal's office.
We don't call them symposium. I don't care. I am a basketball guy, and I want that Mishawaka basketball team, that St. Joe basketball team, that Lawrence North basketball team. And by the way, Jimmy Etherington was the fourth coach that we had on, an assistant at Lawrence North. And Lawrence North is in the
They're
semi-state.
still in it. Yes, they are.
And I went to Wapahani team. I want those guys to be celebrating their brains out because that's what high
you
school
do.
Basketball in Indiana is about.
Well, and you still see that, I think, at the 1A and 2A levels, a little bit at the 3, not so much at the 4s anymore because just the way the towns are made up.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would think some towns get after it, but hey, listen, man, we got to bounce here. 8:30. This has been a great show.
We've done great. We could talk longer.
I could talk forever on this stuff.
I appreciate John's been with us the whole night, just kind of sitting there listening.
Hey, John, how's things going?
Put John back on there. There we go.
Hey, Johnny, how's things going at school? Pretty good?
Yeah, we're doing all right. Busy. End of the grading period coming up, trying to chase a bunch of kids and make sure they get their stuff done. But looking forward to this weekend because I think Coach is going with me to Logansport. We're planning on doing the semi-state down at the Berry Bowl.
If I get a doctor's release.
So who do you have in the Berry Bowl?
We got the 3.
Peru and St. Joe and Delta and Fairfield.
That's right. That's right.
We're going to the Berry Bowl.
And don't sleep on Fairfield. Derek Heinen, who played for Chris Benedict at Columbia City, is the head coach at Fairfield. Mm-hmm. They're 20-6 or something like that.
And they've done very well for themselves. I think it's a wide open semi-state.
John, are you guys going to be heading down to the state then and doing? I mean,
we're hoping to. Yeah, we'll see what the results are this weekend, but we're hoping to head down there Easter weekend.
Oh, that'd be great. That would be great.
You can take my place because I'm going to Mexico.
You ain't going to the States?
Nope, I'm leaving.
No, he already told me he's going to Mexico.
They changed it.
Listen to me. Back in the day,
that wouldn't happen.
Back in the day, that announcer would cancel that Mexican trip.
I'd go the next day.
And
we'd
those
move it
Mexican
to Sunday.
people, they would say, whatever we got to do to get Pat here on Sunday.
Well, then this year you're dealing with the Sweet 16 instead of the Final Four. Because usually when I go to Mexico, it's Final Four weekend for college. This year it's Sweet 16.
So
the colleges are a week late and they're messing everybody up.
And so I didn't put this together. So the state finals is 2 weeks after the semi-state, right, John?
Correct. Yeah, there's that week because Cambridge is hosting first and second rounds on the normal state weekend. So the IHSA said we got to move it back a week.
Yeah.
That's different.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
But what are those teams going to do for 2 weeks?
Go to Mexico on vacation.
They're going to have symposiums every day.
Johnny, be good. Don't get me started, John.
They'll go on spring break, come back, and have practice for 3 or 4 days, and have the state finals, and about 500 people will show up.
Yeah, I know. That's just the momentum of those semi-states will be killed, won't it?
Oh, sure.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Hey, John, great seeing you, man. Great hearing your voice, man. You're the best.
See you guys.
All right.
Hey,
Scott's in St. Louis. Scott, I would mention off the air, you get to go to a new place tomorrow, don't you? You're going to Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Wow.
It's out by Yellowstone. Is that right? The big ski resort. Is that right,
Yeah.
Scott?
Get to slam a 150,000-pound piece of aluminum tube down on a really short runway. So can't wait.
Well, if anybody can do it, you can, man. And I don't know if I have shared my sentiments with you. We really appreciate all of the stuff you do for us in making this show work and helping a couple of slaps or pillars of the community.
Oh yeah,
put something together like this, man.
Depending on who we're talking to.
Yeah, you're the best, Scott. Thanks, man, for all you do.
Of course. Subscribe to the channel. Give a thumbs up on the video if you're watching on YouTube. It'll be archived on there and on broadcastsport.net and on Facebook. It'll be on your podcast feed, wherever you get your podcast tomorrow. So we will see everybody next week.
Yeah, we will be back next week. Same time, same place.
Same bat time, same bat channel,
That's
man.
right. Let's go watch
You're the
some
best,
ball
brother.
games.
All right, man. Thanks for tuning in.
Was